Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons, where you can sign up to be a member of the Shannons Club, your local Holden certified service centre, Pace Farm the enjoyable egg, and Heron Forbes Machinery House, where you can buy online. Making my way through regional South Australia, and I have arrived at a Holden certified service centre, and of course the owner is an avid car collector. Stay in your chair for this one in this week's Classic Restos on the road. This is the dealership of Michale Steinborner. Holden sign proudly still displayed out front, and Michale is a Holden diehard, but he appreciates classic cars in general, no pun intended. Michale started in the car game back in 1967. Semi-retired these days, Michale still enjoys a dabble in business, but his love for classic cars also keeps him going. Michale has traded and sold more Holdens than most of us have had hot dinners. Michale has been in the position over the years to buy Holden Executives cars, one-off type cars and original cars. Here is just some of his collection. Now, at another location, behind me, a shed door, right? Well, of course we know it's a shed door, but it's what is behind it. Righto, come on. Okay, and away we go. Again, no matter what enthusiast camp you are from, you would have to agree that collections such as this rock the emotion. From the first FJ demo from the Barossa Valley Holden dealer in 1954, how about Monaro No.1 from 2001, through to the last Magnum Ute that was made, only 240 in total. Enhanced by a Holden red floor, this showroom shed is a kicker. With me now, Holden legend, Michale Steinborner. How are you, Michale?
Very good, Fletch.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, pleasure.
What a place.
Oh, it's Holden. The Holden shed.
It is.
Yes.
It goes back a long way with you. It means a lot to you. How do you feel when you walk in here and just have a look around your collection?
Oh, it brings back a lot of memories, and very proud of what I've achieved with a good team of people and probably a good wife behind me.
Yeah.
But there's just so much history in Holden, and I'm part of that history over 54 years.
I think reflective to your success as well, you have to be good in a rural area, because if you weren't, you wouldn't last long. And you've got many, many decades behind you and under your belt, and that is a massive achievement. It really is.
Well, the thing with any selling, it's not the first one you sell, it's the ones you continually keep getting people back and looking after people, and that's what we've tried to achieve in the years, the 37 years that I've been involved on my own. But and there's a lot of these cars have been cars that we've traded back from good loyal Holden owners. So
many cars have come back to you. You were having a chat earlier. I was quite surprised that you've sold so many cars, but so many have come back and they've been retraded and on-sold again, and that's a legacy within itself too. It's a reputation you've got for people to keep on dealing with you.
That's right. Well, happy customers in whatever you're selling is what it's all about.
Actually, we have some figures here which can hardly be sneezed at. Now, new Holden sales, Michale, a total of 75,991 vehicles have been sold in the time that you've been in business, correct?
That's right.
So I'll say that
again. New
and
used cars.
New and used cars, 75,991. New cars, 11,688 have passed through the dealership.
That's right.
Used cars, 42,515. And other new, at over 2,289. A combination there of 56,492 cars comprising those categories. But in total, the 75,991, that's amazing.
There's been a lot of cars turned over. Obviously, there's a lot of those have been on-sold to other dealers and wholesale and auctions and
but the thing is, though, Michael, it's not as though you're in Adelaide City. I mean, we're in the country here. We're north of Adelaide, and that's just incredible.
Yeah, well, it's a reputation that we've built over the years, and you know, our theme's always been it's well worth the trip, and people come from all over the state, and now with the internet, all over Australia.
Michael, thoughts on the Holden Certified Service Centres? There's around 200 in the country, there's 50 in New Zealand, and talk about an education as we go here. I think this is tremendous that this is still an ongoing thing and it's still red hot.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's a lot of the loyal owners want to make sure they're keeping their Holdens shipshape, and this program is excellent that we can keep retaining our customers back to our dealerships. You know, we've got trained guys who just Holdens are their whole life as far as in maintenance, technicians, and these are fellas who know what they're doing.
Having caught up with Mark Abolo too, the Managing Director of General Motors Australia just recently as well, having a chat with him. And it's also nice to know that there are exciting things planned for the future too. So all is not quite lost.
No.
Are you a motoring enthusiast? Does your current insurer understand your passion? At Shannons, we're motoring enthusiasts, just like you. We understand the passion you have for your special car or bike. But did you know that Shannons will also insure your daily drive, the car you drive every day? So if you're a motoring enthusiast, you've got to be with Shannons. So call Shannons on 13 46 46. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
When it comes to cars, there are some brands that will remain with us forever, no matter what. The Holden was always Australia's own car, held high in the hearts of many. Those lines, that chrome, the stories around them, and the people that owned them. From the classic through to the final, you can still trust in genuine Holden and AC Delco parts, available through the Holden Certified Service Network. Have a look for your nearest Holden Certified Service Centre at holden.com.au, and let's keep supporting Australia's own.
Monaro behind me, the HK 327 Bathurst edition, the first car to win Bathurst, not this particular car, but it's the first of the model. I've always wanted a Monaro. I've been working for a bit over 12 months when Monaro was released, and just a boyhood dream. Over the years, haven't had the opportunity or didn't look at the opportunity to buy one. I bought one about 3 years ago, which is a base HK Monaro, but it wasn't a 327, and I've always wanted a 327. And when I heard that this car was coming available, it did take a little bit of a coax from my son and one of my mates to keep pushing, because it wasn't an auction, but I ended up buying it. But this particular vehicle is a two-owner South Australian car, original plates, every spot of service history from the original owner to the second owner, and I'm now the third owner. It's my latest purchase, and it's a vehicle that's very dear to my heart, probably dear also in the price, but the money's immaterial. The HK Monaro is a very unique motor car. It's a one-owner Barossa car, but the gentleman who owned it from new, and I'm now the second owner, he ordered it brand new from a company called Coventry Motors, who are no longer a Holden dealer, being extinct for probably 40 years. But he ordered it with a 186 motor, 4-speed manual, limited slip diff, the wider wheels, GDS hubcaps, and then he put all the accessories, which were Holden accessories, available to put on it. And he's kept this car in original condition, and is really a survivor car. It's had no paint, no major mechanical, and it is a classic. Back in '68, Holden really were just getting into Bathurst. They hadn't won a Bathurst before, and this was a pretty unique time in the Australian history of motor racing to have that particular car. Yeah, well, '67, obviously Ford won the Bathurst with the XR GT, and Holden probably really needed to look at saying, well, what are we going to do about it? But they had something up their sleeve with the release of the Monaro in '68, and obviously Bruce McPhee and Barry Mulholland did very well that year, and took the honours. So it was a great start to motor racing. 1971 LC XU1. This particular Torana has got quite a story, as most of my cars have got stories. Well, they've all got stories. But this particular vehicle I traded from a local Gawler gentleman on a '98 VT SS, but it was optional with a 195 kilowatt motor, but he traded this car in on the new one. But he had bought it as a used car 4 or 5 years earlier from Mount Gambier, and the car had a full restoration before he bought it. And it is a beautiful car, Lena mint, and condition has been restored properly. Mechanically is excellent, and of course this was the first of the XU1s. Probably the LJ, the model after. This is the one that's most well known for being the car with the 3300 motor, whereas this was the 186 motor with the triple carbies. And the LJ was the one that probably won the Bathursts and was probably more known for racing, etc. But this is a beautiful little car, and again, it's been restored back to original. It's a little classic. The thing with Torana, and I did start selling in 1971, I actually sold 3 new HG Kingswoods before the HQ was released. So that was my bedding into selling, particularly new cars. I used to sell used cars before that. But Torana was really a car that a lot of the younger people would buy, because you didn't have to buy like this, the XU1. You could option up a base model S and have it looking like this, but not with high insurance, had a 2250 or a 2600 motor. You could option it with a 4-speed gearbox, the full instrumentation. These were the cars that, and they were, don't quote me, $2,500 new, whereas the new Kingswood was about $2,800 in that time. So the Torana was a very desirable car for the younger people who wanted something with a little bit of looks and performance, but with not quite the grunt as this. Yeah, well, I mean, the Torana really went well. It was a sort of very zippy car. I think their theme was little big wheels was the theme, and also with XU1, when you're hot, because they were a hot little machine. But they were a very good performer, handled extremely well, and then obviously when they started racing, they had the power, they still had the brakes to be able to pull you up and so forth. So. Yeah, well, the HJ 4-door GDS, this particular vehicle has got a huge story. It's originally was a Holden Executive driven car from Elizabeth, but the thing with the car is that it got optioned with every option you could physically get on a vehicle at that time. Power windows, central locking, power steering, the 5-litre or 308 V8 motor, 4-speed manual, retractable rear seat belts, power antenna. Every option, full body kit with a dual exhaust. These were all factory options at the time. Cars retail started at $6,060, and then it had a number of other all the options the heavy-duty 4-speed gearbox, a $34 option, but you wanted a power antenna, it was $75. I mean, there's a bit of a difference for equipment level, so that's how they were. But they forgot to tick one box, and that's why it went into the company fleet, which was the way of Holden moving cars that weren't retailable to the dealers. They forgot to tick the box C60, which was air conditioning. So the car was virtually unsaleable out at retail level. So it went into the company fleet. 3,000 or 4,000 kilometres later, sold, and it's had one owner other than that since. And I traded the car back about 15 years ago. It's now done 70,000 kilometres, and it is an absolute beautiful car. We really enjoy driving the car, probably not on a 40 degrees day, but it is a lovely, lovely car. Condition is nearly like new. Yeah, well, in '76, obviously the two major competitors were Holden and Ford, and I was right in the swing of selling at that time. And HJ was, 76 was towards the end of HJ before we went to HX. Holden were doing very well in the marketplace, and probably attributed to the range that they had offering. You know, there was a big range of cars, you know, from the Belmont through to the Kingswood through to the Monaro four-doors, and of course Statesman and Caprices and so forth. So. But it was a good time, a very good time for Holden, and you know, a lot of people bought that Kingswood era or that Kingswood size of car. Well, you know, with Ford, it was a very strong competition in those days, and Ford were always there. You would have a customer who would look at both cars before he made a decision. And you know, it was XC in '76. They were a pretty good motor car in their day, but I think Holden were better.
I was 16 when I first saw her. Loved her utterly. She was so sweet, so perfect, still is. She's got a whopping great 2-stroke engine under that gorgeous aerodynamic body. Insurance? Well, Shannons, of course.
No one knows your passion like Shannons. That's why we offer special limited usage rates and even club plate cover. So call Shannons on 13 46 46. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
They may not be making the classic Holden anymore, but the legacy lives on. You can still have a Holden certified service using genuine Holden and AC Delco quality parts at over 180 centres across Australia. Go to holden.com.au to find your nearest centre. Book your Holden in, maintain the pride. All of these cars are insured with Shannons, and it's easy to see why. Why not pick up the phone and give Shannons a call for a quote and a chat on 134646. And if you are yet to discover the Shannons Club, Australia's largest automotive online hub, information awaits you when you visit shannons.com.au. Okay, here we are in Shed 2, the fermenting shed, and we're about to find a car in here that's close to Michael's heart.
Right alongside of me is the 1981 VC Commodore that was built exclusively for the South Australian Holden dealers to commemorate 50 years of the merger of General Motors and Holden Motor Body Builders to become General Motors Holden Limited. Car is a VC, the second of the Commodore series. It was based off an L model, but had a lot of SLE equipment fitted into the car. 6-cylinder automatic, built in a special commemorative gold, and part of the 300, this was the first lot of cars that Holden ever numbered as a limited release model. This is number 67 of 300 built. Part of that was a bottle of port that was numbered with the car. So this is number 67. Yes, it still has got port in it, but it's not probably the original port. This is a one-owner car, Barossa car, that was sold by the local Holden dealer, and I bought it back from the family about 10 to 15 years ago when the lady, the original owner, stopped driving, and it's just in beautiful condition. So genuine 67,000 kilometres, number 67, and I started work in 1967. The car has got a few little extras that were fitted by the people to put their blinds down. This was before, well, I wouldn't say before tinted windows, but it was had little blinds that came down to keep the sun out. The car also has got an optional air conditioning fitted. Wasn't factory, but it's all integrated. It's also got one little option that most people wouldn't see. It's actually got a chain behind the driver's seat where the dog sat on a Hessian wheat bag. But the car is unmarked. The dog had no effect in it, but that's where the dog would sit when they'd go for a drive. And that's the chain's still there. But it's a beautiful car, and you know, unique part of Australian, particularly South Australian history. And the car behind me, alongside of the VC, is a 1985 VK Calais, which has got, very close to my heart because it's our 1000th car that we sold after we opened up in 1984, 4th of January 1984. We sold this car to a local son of a local businessman, and it was a special factory order. It's a Calais 5 litre, actual fact it's a 4.9 litre, 4-speed manual, factory roof, and was specially ordered. It's done, I think, now around 130,000 kilometres. I traded it back on a 03 Monaro, and out of interstate, the gentleman has only just bought, not long ago, from us a ex-Holden owned motorsport. So he's a Holden man through and through. But the car is a beauty. It went to Brock. It's got the Brock wheels on it, suspension done, and it was released just before Holden actually released the Director, which was the next model up. So again, very nice motor car, and it is a unique part of my collection.
Well, Michael, you better take this Holden Legends cap, limited edition from Holden, because you're a bit of a Holden legend, so congratulations on that.
Thanks, Fletch.
You are more than welcome. Now, and on that note, no matter where you're watching Classic Restos from, until next week, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch.
Thank you very much for watching.
Good on you, Michael. Well done. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ClassicRestosTV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au.
Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons, where you can sign up to be a member of the Shannons Club, your local Holden certified service centre, Pace Farm the enjoyable egg, and Heron Forbes Machinery House, where you can buy online.